There's a lot to try to get in the picture all at the same time. I don't think it turned out as well as the picture could have been, but yeah, I got a lot of things on here, and I'm still missing a few of them that aren't right here right now. Let me get this off of me. Ah, there we go. So this is the duct tape belt that I worked on. This is a tool belt. So it's got a tool pouch. You can put things in. It's got the whole belt. So the belt and the pouch, and I used a little fastener made out of a paper clip. I do like the pouch. The belt, I think I'm going to change the buckle on the belt to something else. And I'll trim up some of the tape. But yeah, so I mean, I did the napkin holder, a napkin ring. This is actually, yeah, thanks. So this is, stop freaking the camera out, dude. Seriously. So this is work hardened, hammered uh, plant wire. So this is like, I forget, it's one of those colored aluminum wires that's pretty dead soft. And so what I ended up doing was shaping it to the path that I wanted it to be on. And I did not have anywhere in the house a hammer or something that I could hammer on. So what I ended up doing was I went to the workout equipment and got a heavy weight with a semi-domed but marginally flat top. And one of the projects that I want to try to learn to do is do some flint knapping. So when we dug up the end of the driveway, I found a couple of stones that would make really good hammer stones. So I have a couple hammer stones, and I think it's a 10 to 15 pound dumbbell with a solid top. So I put the weight between my knees, and I took the hammer stone and I hammered this plant wire to a flat profile. I don't know if you can see the profile on that now. It's not rounded anymore. And it partially gives a sort of a hammered look to it, but it also work hardens it a little bit, so it doesn't bend as easily as it did before. And so I that worked better than expected. This one I'm not as impressed with. This is something I did a few days ago. This is quilling. This is where you do coils of paper. It's hard to say because the colors just don't pop the way they should. Like for some reason they really don't show up super well. In person they look even a little gray. So they look a little weaker than I wanted them to. I think it's because you're going edge on to the paper rather than side on, because that's yellow. But from the edge, you have that paper edge color, and it doesn't do the business on it. This one was another one I did that I kind of could work on a little bit more. So this is the jewelry one. There's a little bit of red copper in the middle. That's a cherry pit, and that's a pistachio shell with a little bit of silver wire sticking them together and hanging them from some linen thread. So it's not the greatest thing I've done so far. I'm trying to remember what else I have here. Oh, I'm making money. That's goofing around with playing with some of that earlier today. That was, this is for dough. So this is salt dough. And I even made a little angel. So, I mean, I got it to do some of the things I needed it to do. I'm trying to think of all the things that I've done so far. Ooh, I forgot to check the whistle to see if it the gluing of it set it in place right. Seems to be working. Actually, let's see how loud I can get it. Huh, interesting. Anyway, so I made the 2 coins, the angel. Yeah, I'm a little ADD tonight. The angel's a snowman with the salt dough. Napkin ring, salt dough, jewelry, quilling, tape belt. Oh, the other thing I did was, that's glass etching. So I put a piece of foil behind it on this one just so I could show it off to the camera. But what I did earlier with this for showing the picture off was to take that and balance it on, there's a cheap dollar store night light, and basically it's just like a bright blue LED light that is right underneath a pane of plastic that sets into the frame, and it lights up the edges of that pane of plastic. But it's the way it's set in there is the light is here. So you have the pane of plastic, the light is here, the light is right here, and there's a little ledge before the plastic backing. And so I feel like they're really kind of perfect for doing glass etching on small pieces of glass, balancing them right over that LED, because the LED lights it. I want to see if I can get my camera to show my phone, because I took a picture of it earlier when it was lit like that. And it was, that's the thing I was shooting for earlier when I was trying to see what I could do with etching glass, was the whole point of doing it. And I mean, it lit up and glows in the pattern of it's not, the camera really doesn't like to take that shot. It doesn't take a good picture of the screen on my phone, but it made the Batman symbol glow. And all I did for that was I took a clear packing tape and I cut a strip longer than the glass pane was. Again, I did what I did with the UV light, where I taped it to my screen and then used a razor blade I have from a box cutter to trim around the edges of the pattern on my screen, and then remove the whole thing from the screen, trim the excesses of the tape off the edges of the glass, and then use the tip of the razor blade to pick up a corner and start peeling the removed section of tape. And then I did hit it with a little bit of rubbing alcohol first to remove any greasy fingerprints or residue left from the tape that was stuck to it. And then, after letting that dry, I took some Armor Etch, which I had to find locally, and used that to etch the glass pretty pretty quickly. I did a thick layer of straight armor edge, and I let it sit for like maybe 3 to 5 minutes, and then I rinsed it off. Now, theoretically, if I diluted it, added it to the surface, and let it thinly sit there for half an hour, I should get a pretty aggressively deep etch. And I might do something. I mean, I have a whole lot of it. I had to spend $20 to get a container of it. And I got a lot more than I would standardly use. But, I mean, I could do more glass etching. I could see doing some of that. The salt dough has some moderate uses. I do believe I can put a sealing coat on it and possibly paint the surface of it too. So, I mean, I could do some simple props and experiments with the salt dough. I mean, at this point, I've got a few projects left to do, but not a whole great big lot left. And so I feel like, and I'm probably going to be short video-wise tonight, but I feel like I've gotten some of the harder ones out of the way. I have to find out what the heck I did with my plaster of Paris, because I'm going to need that for the Sgraffito and the Yeseria, which are, Sgraffito is going to be a layer of a dark material. In my case, I think I'm using, I guess we can call it stucco. It's not really clay. Like it's clay mixed with silt that was left over from some of the other projects I did. I can make a simple tile out of that, and it's sort of like a brick. And then it has a brownish dark tone to it, and I can put let that dry, and then put a layer of that, put a layer of plaster of Paris over that, and then like a very thin wash of plaster of Paris over the top of that. And once that's done, I can scratch through the plaster of Paris, and that's what Sgraffito is. Yeseria is taking, again, plaster of Paris and making a piece that I can carve into, and it's carved plaster. And then I finally think I figured out what I'm doing for the mask. And the Xerox art, I'm going to see what I can do with it. But it's not going to be legitimate Xerox art. It's going to be the best I can do in quarantine conditions. And I guess we'll see how I do with astronomy, the astrolabe. Those are going to be the big ones. The mask, I think what I'm probably going to do is just see if I could do a stylized face mask. So it's going to be stitching together some fabrics. And that's mainly where I think I've got left to deal with. Well, I will have at least a few things to show off on Sunday that you haven't seen yet. But thus far, I've pretty much made it through my whole month getting a project done for each letter of the alphabet. I mean, I've still got a few of the ones remaining to do, but I'm pretty pleased. So, I mean, maybe. It feels like some of these have not turned out as good as I wanted them to. Like I was hoping the quilling would turn out better than it did. But, like, I'm not mad at it. And the jewelry could be better. I've done better pieces of jewelry. But for my limited tool access right now and sort of one project a day for a month kind of thing, I'll take the victories that I get. So, I mean, I guess that's it for mainly tonight. Still kind of waiting to see if my buddy / landlord recuperates the way I hope he does. He seems to be doing a little bit better tonight than he was last night. So he may be on the mend. Fingers crossed. And then I imagine probably at this sometime in the start of next week, I'm headed back to work. But next month is the start of a new project. So next month's project, February, March. Yeah. So marching to your own tune, I guess was what we called it. Can't remember specifically. Let's see if I can pull it up. I guess it's, yeah, marching to your own tune. It's going to be interesting to see if I can work my way through creating an album. 7 minutes, or 7 songs, 31 minutes minimum. In the month of March. That'll be interesting. I am not horrifically musically inclined, but I have some simple fun projects that I can probably work on. So I guess we'll see how that goes. And then April is learning magic tricks, stand-up comedy, and practical jokes, optical illusions, that kind of stuff. So it's April fooling around. May is the photo album, which I'm actually kind of excited to get to. And then June is the Solo by Solstice game jam. July would be the independent films. August would be the recipes. A different recipe, a new recipe every day. September was, I can't remember what September was. Oh, Paintember. October was Skittober. Or is that backwards? Skittember? Paintober? I don't know. Might juggle those around. And then November, I will do National Novel Writing Month, but November is also the penultimate month. So it's pen work. And then December is the invent calendar, where I'll be inventing something for each day of the month. It's really more tinkering than anything, but yeah, so I guess that's really it for tonight. I don't got a lot else to share. I don't have a lot else to share tonight. So I will just lump it in as take care and good night. I feel a little rushed. I'm just not focusing tonight. But I will be back on Sunday. Hope you're doing well. Take care. And I will catch you on Sunday.